Yo, what is up guys? Delboy here. So, son of Costa Tszyu, Tim Tszyu, defeats Dwight Ritchie in a 10-round unanimous decision. I know some of my regular viewers may see this as an odd fight to cover, but I've been kind of following Tim Tszyu's career since the beginning basically. In fact, I've actually done a video covering Tim Tszyu. I have a series called Prospect Watch where we kind of look at prospects in boxing from across the world, and Tim Tszyu was one of the guys I covered. So listen, I've got some interest in this guy's career, mainly because of who his father was, and given the name I was intrigued, and yeah, it's got me following his career. Now Tim Tszyu, he beat Dwight Ritchie by a unanimous decision in a 10-round fight. He now moves to 14-0 with 10 knockouts, but I've got to say, this was a good test for Tim Tszyu. Dwight Ritchie came in there with a record of 19-1, and listen, he was a bit better than I expected. He was very tough, he was very durable, and he really came to give it a go. He was fairly active and he was landing some nice shoe-shining type shots. Dwight Ritchie's problem was the fact that he never really had the strength to keep Tim Tszyu at bay, and he didn't have the punching power to halt Tim Tszyu in his tracks. He never had anything to deter Tim Tszyu, and as a result, Tim Tszyu, he kind of walked him down and, ground down Dwight Ritchie to a unanimous decision. Tim Tszyu was landing the nice power shots. I mean, at the start of a fight, for example, he found a home for his left hook. That shot was connecting quite regularly. In round 3, Dwight Ritchie sustained a really bad cut, and he really did well to not only survive but also to continue to actually give it a go and show ambition. As the fight wore on, Tim Tszyu also found a home for his right hand, and in the last round in particular, Tim Tszyu landed a series of power punches on Dwight Ritchie. Tim Tszyu, he certainly won this fight. He did the better work, he landed the eye-catching shots and caused the damage, but Dwight Ritchie came to give it a go, and he could have won a couple of rounds here and there, so credit to Dwight Ritchie for giving it a go, and ultimately I believe this was a good fight for Tim Tszyu's development. Now Tim Tszyu is only 24 years old, he's got a hell of a long way to go, and I'm not really sure what his ceiling is. One thing I can say, they are talking about a potential fight with Jeff Horn. I'm sure that will be a massive fight down under, but I've got to say, I think it's too soon for that type of fight for Tim Tszyu. Don't get me wrong, if he takes it, fair enough, fair play, it shows great ambition, but from a matchmaking perspective, I do believe Tim Tszyu needs a few more fights before jumping in there with somebody like, Jeff Horn, who is proven, he's been a world champion and he's mixed it at a much higher level. He's had more fights, he's more experienced, etc. I would like to see Tim Tszyu fight some more tough guys like Dwight Ritchie. I think a good fight for Tim Tszyu next would be Jack Brubaker, who was actually on the undercard. He's a solid fighter. Brubaker actually beat Tyrone Nurse fairly recently. Again, Brubaker is another Australian. I think that would be a good fight for Tim Tszyu. Maybe even someone like Brian Rose from the UK would be a good little fight for Tim Tszyu. But what I'm saying is, I think Tim needs guys who can take him rounds, guys who are experienced, and guys who he can learn off. Right now, jumping from Dwight Ritchie to Jeff Horn would be a massive step up, and one that could go horribly wrong. Jeff Horn, yes, he got washed by Terence Crawford, but the guy is a very good fighter. He's physically strong, he's tough, he's durable, he's rugged, and he's experienced. I personally wouldn't put Tim Tszyu in that type of fight just yet. I don't think he's experienced enough, and ultimately, I don't think he's developed his skills to that level yet. Like I said, guys like Jack Brubaker, Brian Rose, I think these are good fights for Tim Tszyu. Maybe even somebody like Jason Wellborn, another guy from the UK, tough, durable, rugged, could be a good test for Tim Tszyu. But yeah, just my brief thoughts on this fight between Tim Tszyu and Dwight Ritchie. Solid enough performance. He showed some flaws here and there, but, you know, he's still very young. 24 years old. He can improve. What's his ceiling? I'm not really sure, but I think his career will be quite fun to follow. So, yeah, share your thoughts below. Tell me how you felt about the fight. How did you score it? Were you impressed with Tim Tszyu, or did you expect a bit more? Fingers crossed we actually get some Aussies commenting on this video. I'm intrigued to hear your thoughts in particular on Tim Tszyu. How far do you think this guy will go? Share your thoughts below. Peace.